Hi, good evening, everyone, and a belated Happy New Year to everyone. Welcome to our first Healthy Hearts session for the year 2023. For people who are not too familiar with Healthy Hearts, it's our usual culturally tailored nutrition and lifestyle sessions we have every Tuesday to educate our community. We just want people to be able to adopt healthier lifestyle, using our foods. Now, today we have a special session. We're going to launch a very important challenge. But before we get there, I just wanted to use this opportunity to thank everyone who's been part of our journey, people who have engaged in our sessions, the questions you keep asking. We thank you so much, and we really do hope that you are finding these sessions useful. Now, every year, at the beginning of the year, people do set some goals for themselves. We call them New Year resolutions. Sometimes if you're a student, you might have some academic goals. People have financial goals. People have different goals they set for themselves. What about our lifestyle and nutrition? Do we think about, specific goals we want to set for ourselves in the coming year? I'm sure if I ask a few people, or should we just use Dr. Sanda? I'll come to you. Let me just get some engagement from the group. Have we thought about some goals, nutrition and lifestyle goals we want to set for ourselves this year? Anybody? You don't have to share it, but I just want to know if people have started thinking about what they want for themselves for this 2023 year when it comes to nutrition and lifestyle. Anybody wants to raise their hand or put something in the chat box? Okay, I have someone saying, well, there's a thumbs up, so you have a goal. Anyone else wants to let us know if they've set some goals for themselves? Nutrition and lifestyle goals. Okay, thank you, Doc. Yes. Anybody else? Daniel, please check YouTube and Facebook for me if people are responding to us. Now, the reason why I'm asking this question is that a lot of the times most people don't, okay? A few people do, but they set really huge goals. So someone would say, I would like to lose 10 kilos, very big goals. Now, this year, what we intend to do with Healthy Hearts is to support people in those small goals. We don't want people setting, huge goals, like I want to lose 10 kilos. We want people to set smart goals, really small goals, like, just wanting to drink more water, wanting to have more vegetables, just those ones that might look like, apologies, my little one is here. After I finish the introduction, I'll try and get him to go away. Okay, so what I tend to say is that we've done a lot of talking. So this year we are going to walk the talk. I mean, there's a saying that says that let's stop doing the talk, too much talk, and walk the talk. Okay, and so unlike the intervention we did where we had communal nutrition goals, this year we want people to set their own nutrition goals. However, we have an interesting communal challenge, and that's why I have invited a colleague by name Dr. Sanda Ismail. And because of this little boy here, I'm just going to end now and invite Dr. Sanda to introduce himself, and I'll come back afterwards, after his presentation. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much, Dr. Hibbah, and thank you for having me. So I think I will start off by doing the trickiest thing when it comes to presentations is to try and share some slides that I have. And, when that works, then, I'll do that personal introduction and then, start the presentation. So just going to share some slides with you. Can you all see, a slide on your screen?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Fantastic. Okay, brilliant. So I didn't mean to go to the next slide. So yes, to introduce myself, my name is Sanda Ismail. I'm a senior lecturer in public health at the University of the West of England, where I am actually, talking from today. In terms of my, subject area of expertise, so I am interested in looking at various non-communicable diseases and how they affect different groups of people within our communities, and our societies, and looking at the things that cause them and how we can actually prevent those non-communicable diseases. Currently, I've been very much interested in the area of dementia, looking at the causes of dementia, particularly among, Black ethnic minority populations, and also among, religious communities as well in the UK. In terms of today's presentation regarding, this 10,000 step daily challenge, I really like Dr. Hibbah's introduction about, walking the talk. And I think that sort of syncs very well to what we're going to talk about, because there is going to be a lot of talks about walking and about, walking into and through the new year to remain healthy. So this is a challenge that I have led previously among, a Muslim religious community before. The first one was during the lockdown, and when, the movements of people were very limited by lockdown restrictions. And then we had another one the following year, and, we had very good feedback, and Dr. Hibbah was very much actively involved in both of them, as well. We received very positive feedback in terms of its impacts on the physical activity and health of those who took part. So I am delighted to talk about it today with you. And the whole aim, of today's session is to challenge you and motivate you and hopefully inspire you to actually, remain or become physically active, okay, as we've just, entered the new year. At the end of the presentation, there will be time for questions. I'm told I have about half an hour or so, of which I spent a great deal of it telling you who I am and also introducing this challenge. So let's get into let's get straight into business. To talk about, what the challenge involves, why it is necessary in the first place, and how you can get the maximum, benefits from the challenge. Okay. So about the challenge itself. Okay, so before we talk about that, let us see why it is necessary. Okay, not just in a very broad sense, but more particularly why it is important for, Black ethnic minority populations or communities. Okay. Now, I'm sure what the information that I have on this slide is not new to most of you, but the overwhelming evidence is that there are higher rates of various non-communicable diseases, or what we call long-term conditions, among Black ethnic minority groups in the UK in particular, but that's quite similar in other areas of the world, as well. And more specifically, in terms of conditions such as diabetes, there is a staggering statistics, that African Caribbean populations are 5 times more likely to develop type 2 diabetes, okay, compared to, the white, population. In terms of heart and circulatory diseases, we also do know that African, and African Caribbean populations are at higher risk of developing things such as stroke and blood pressure, okay, compared to other ethnic communities as well. For obesity, we do know that Black adults are most likely, okay, out of all the ethnic, groups, okay, to be obese or overweight. So this is a bit of a a doom over here in terms of that, and therefore there are various interventions, various measures, various recommendations to try and improve the health and well-being of Black minority ethnic groups, okay, in the UK and all around the world, if you like. One of I wanted to say simple strategies. It sounds simple, but it's not necessarily simple, but it is doable, if you like. And it's been found to be most effective. It's just trying to be physically active. And when we talk about physical activity, I think a lot of times many people think about physical activity as, running, as early sort of physical activity, or, waking up to do certain, exercises and all that. And therefore, some people find this, very difficult, and I can't do it. I can't be consistent in it. But actually, the little things, the little movements that we consider sometimes in our minds to be insignificant have actually been found to be very beneficial, okay, when it comes to improving health. And, it has been shown that, actually, being physically active, such as, walking, okay, can reduce, one's risk of cardiovascular disease by 35%. Now, this is really huge. This is big, okay, to reduce your chances of developing heart diseases by 35%. That is significant, okay. And that can, be achieved by, sort of exercising about 150 minutes, okay, a week, okay. If you break it down to a day, that's just about 20 to 30 minutes a day, okay. So that's, if you think about it, then that becomes doable, isn't it? Think about just, physically active 20 to 30 minutes a day, and that doesn't have to be at one go. That's across, the 24 hours. Of course, you're not going to be awake 24 hours. You're going to get, some sleep and all that. But sparing that 20 to 30 minutes to be physically active can have a huge impact on on our health. Okay, it's about starting small, as I said, and it's not about doing it at a goal. You can do it in short, burst of time. Okay, and I know some, as Hibbah mentioned, we all have resolutions, and we all kind of like, every time, oh, I'm going to do it. It sounds so great. I'm going to do it. I'm going to be physically active. I'm going to do this. And when will you do it? Tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes another tomorrow, and tomorrow never comes. Okay. So the best time to make any of those changes to become physically active, I tell everyone, is now. Okay. Just now. Okay. Don't wait till even the next hour or so. It is now. Okay. So, I mean, looking at the staggering, statistics that I've given you in terms of how disadvantaged African and African Caribbean communities are, when it comes to health, and also just mentioning to you some of the importance of being, physically active. This is the whole rationale behind challenging people, motivating people, inspiring people to become physically active, okay, and move more. So hence the reason for this challenge, okay? So, how can you take part in this challenge? Now a lot of the time, when you ask people whether they are physically active or not, what they will tell you actually is, oh, yes, I am. And I think this is a question that when I, ask my, my grandparents, I tell my granddad, you don't walk more, you need to walk more. And now he'll come up with all this theory to tell you how active he is during the day. And that just doesn't apply to him. I think we all do so. We all feel, oh, I'm physically active. When I went to work today, I walked a lot. Or, I walked to the shop to go and do this. But without actually we finding a way to measure it, in reality, what we do realize actually is that we are less physically active than we think. Okay, and now this is one component of the challenge that helps one to gauge, how much physically active you are during the day. Okay, so as part of this challenge, you're going to use, an app. We have so many apps on our phone nowadays, don't we? Almost apps for everything. Now, there is an app, and we found this particular one to be useful, called the Pacer app, which of course, is compatible with the, the popular devices or software devices on mobile phones. That's whether Android or iOS. Okay, and what this app does is when you download it, and Hibbah will share, with you later on how to download the app and how to install it, and how to then join, this particular group for this challenge. What it does is that it records movements that you make. so far as your phone is by you. Okay, so if your phone is in your pocket, if you're holding it, as you do move around, it counts the amount of steps that you take. Okay, which is really cool. So at the end of the day, it can tell you how many steps you have taken. Okay, now there is evidence, okay, to show that if you take about 10,000 steps a day, and this is where the whole 10,000 comes, if you take about 10,000 steps a day, there is evidence that, that is a good indication of you being physically active. And hopefully, if that continues and becomes consistent, then that translates into, a lot of health benefits, including both physical and mental health. Okay, so it's 10,000. And I just want to ask a quick question, to the audience. How confident do you feel that you can walk 10,000 steps a day? Or do you think you've actually been walking more than 10,000 steps a day? Just quick comments, whether you want to unmute yourself and shout it out or you want to put it in the chat. I just want to get your views on this.
Let me be the facilitator of this.
Okay.
What do we think? I can start with myself.
Yep.
So I know for a fact that whenever I'm in a challenge, then I try my best to try and get the 10,000. But when I'm not in a challenge, then that's a challenge.
Right. I like that. I like that. Thank you, Dr. Hibbah. Yes, when you're not in a challenge, or you're not inspired or motivated, then that becomes a challenge. I like that. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else? What do you think?
Nina says I agree. She agrees with me, but Nina is also saying she's lazy when she's not in a challenge. She's supporting what I'm saying.
Right. Anyone think that would be difficult or easy? What do you think?
Everyone is quiet. I don't know if that is an indication that people are not walking 10,000. That's what I will assume.
Are you not sure? That's all answers. You're not sure.
Right. How many of us think we are able to do 10,000 steps a day? I think we should just, but if you think you're able to do 10,000 steps in a day, maybe put 1 in the chat box. If you think you don't, 2. If you don't know, you can just say, I don't know. I'm not sure. So, okay, someone says when I'm at work, it's easier having complete my steps. Okay, Martha says 1. Okay. So Martha is able to do the 10,000 steps. Yes.
Great.
I recognize someone because we did this challenge a year ago who was always exceeding 10,000. I don't think he wants to talk, but I recognize someone who always exceeds 10,000 steps. He's in here. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for those answers, and I think that's that's very positive response, and that's really good. Okay, all the responses are showing that you can do it, and that is really great. For those who've probably not tried it and you're not sure whether you can achieve it or not, I think the first time we launched this challenge, this was during the pandemic, and before we did that, I tried it out with the colleagues of mine who were part of organizing this challenge, and in fact, my honest reflection is I hadn't realized how challenging it is to actually clock 10,000 steps in a day. I thought that was very easy. I thought that was very quick. And actually, it's not as easy as we may think. To me, what that meant was that, in fact, I've been less physically active than I thought. Okay, because I thought I was taking 10,000 steps, a day through my normal, routine activities. But actually, I wasn't. When I started capturing that, I realized that I was below 10,000. And hence, when you have that challenge to clock that 10,000, what it does is that it pushes you, it motivates you to become more physically, active. Great. So, good. I can see a couple more responses. Yes, about achieving that 10,000 steps at work. And you realize that you may do that when you are in certain situations, such as at work. But then there are times that if you are not at work and you're at home, do you actually clock that 10,000? And the challenge is to do this daily. Okay, so this is why, the challenge can be very useful because, irrespective of whether you are in a particular situation or not, it challenges you to clock those 10,000 steps. It gives you a reason to get up from that chair and walk. And we'll talk about, various ways that, you can become physically active and clock those 10,000 steps, a day. Okay, so I'll just move this slideshow. Okay, so how to make more steps. Okay, first of all, simple as it may seem, just walk more. Okay, 10 minutes of brisk walking daily can be very helpful. It can help you clock a lot of steps. Whether you're doing those steps within your house or outside the house, and I'm going to talk about walking outside the house in a minute and some recommendations that can enable you to maximize the health impact in walking or running or moving about. Okay, think about doing this daily. Okay, so a lot of the times when we think about being physically active, we only do it for a moment and then stop, and later on realize that, oh gosh, I need to move again. But think about doing it daily. And this is where the challenge can come very helpful because you've got this app on your phone, okay, that will be telling you how many steps you've taken. And when you've not gotten to your 10,000 steps and the day is coming to an end, something triggers you that I've got something to accomplish. I've got to finish something before the day ends. One of the things that, I encourage is to think about doing these in groups, think about doing this as a family with your partner, as couples, as friends, okay, as colleagues, because that helps, because then you tend to motivate each other. And when we, anytime we run this, what we realize is that people start challenging and competing with each other within the group, which is very interesting, okay? So someone sees that, oh my God, my colleague has clocked these number of steps. And one thing I have to mention is that, when you set up a community within the app, you can all see the steps that you are all taking. So, you see that, gosh, my friend has clocked, 9,000 and, it's getting close to the end of the day and I have 6,000. No, I've got to beat this person. That can sort of help, it's some sort of healthy competition, if you like. Think about, if you're someone that, you get onto the bus, get on the bus a lot, think about, stopping a few steps to your actual destination and walking the rest, of those, of the journey to wherever you're going to. For those of you who can run or jog, the more vigorous your physical activity is, the better, the more health benefit you can derive. So think about, going for runs, pick, moments during the day to go for runs. If you're someone who is just starting to run, think about starting with very short distances and at, kind of like slow paces to start, and then you can increase that, as you go along. The key thing here is about consistency. Okay, so make it a regular habit. To do this. Have particular times to do this. Okay, don't just do it once and then switch it off for a very long time and try coming back. Again, try to encourage others around you to also do that. And sometimes it's great if you do it in a group, because then you become reminders for each other. Think about doing it as a family. Okay. Now, there is something that I wanted to highlight as well. So, as part of the work that I do, I have been engaged in a couple of projects in the past that have sort of looked at the impact of exposure to parks and green spaces, okay, on health and well-being. And from all those projects, what we actually did realize was that Black minority ethnic groups tend not to use parks the way that would benefit their health and well-being. So they tend not to use it at all. Okay, and that is a concern, especially thinking about us as a population that are at higher risk of all these, health conditions, and actually not using, maximizing those spaces to improve our health and well-being. That is a concern. So think about, taking your walks or your runs in green spaces, because, there is, convincing evidence to show that those who actually are exposed to parks, whether sitting, actually even just sitting in the parks, or walking through them or running through them or doing various activities within the park actually improves their mental health, such as reducing stress, depression and anxiety, and also improves their cognitive, function as well. It's been shown to reduce the risk of cardiovascular diseases such as high blood pressure, stroke, and all that. It's also been shown to reduce, the risk of, type 2 diabetes as well. And one of the interesting things, and I think a lot of people, tend, not to recognize it, but actually, studies have found that, pregnant women who actually were exposed to parks and green spaces actually had better outcomes compared to pregnant women who were less exposed to parks and green spaces. Okay. There have been longitudinal studies that have actually shown that people who are exposed to parks and green spaces, actually have been found to be at lesser risk of dying. That's very interesting compared to those who are less exposed to parks and green spaces. That is controlling for other factors that may affect mortality. And the good thing about parks and green spaces is that the more you're exposed to it, the greater benefit that you get. Okay, so spending more time in them, you derive more benefits. So it's like we call it dose response relationship. So the more you take in, the more the benefit. Okay. But you can also think about, other activities over here. And this is really important. Sometimes, just taking the stairs, okay, rather than the lifts, because as you take the steps, you move, you sort of move rather than just standing, in a lift that will just take you to a place. You may not be able to walk the stairs, throughout, all the floors that you want to get to. But what you could do is that you could take the lift to get you to an extent, and you can take the stairs to finish the rest of your journey. Okay. Think about activities such as, gardening, engaging in gardening, activities, for example, and also household chores. This is one of the, the things that people fed back to us in terms of helping them to increase their steps. Those household chores, moving about. So rather than telling, your children to pass on the remote control to you, walk and go and pick it up yourself. That gives you more steps in the challenge. Take the hoovering responsibility from your partner, because that gives you, more steps as you move, around in the house as well. And one of the feedback that we got when we launched this challenge, I got a phone call from a mother who said, "Oh my God, what have you done to my household? You've turned my household down. Everyone is moving, all the kids are moving because they all want to get 10,000 steps a day," which became very interesting. In addition to the physical activity, what it did was that it brought families together, which is quite good feedback to hear. I always say, help one another, okay? Think about encouraging another person. If you're able to clock those steps or get closer to clocking those steps, think about motivating another person within your household, your neighbor, or your friend, no matter the distance, by encouraging them, to join you in this particular activity. So I think this is probably my last slide also. I just, with some sort of take-home messages is that, we cannot, if you like, joke with our health. We can't compromise with our health, because it is actually our personal responsibility, okay? And it's a moral one as well, and a civic one, to remain healthy. Because when we are unhealthy, it doesn't only affect us, it affects all those around us. Our family, our friends, our loved ones would have to give up time to take care of us. We then, the healthcare system, have to be robust enough to take care of us. So there's some pressure, on it as well. So we all need to see this as a personal responsibility, okay, in taking care of our health. Hence, the reason why I would like to motivate you and inspire you to join this challenge, okay, to be physically active, to improve your health and well-being. So I'm just gonna say, start moving, okay. Right. think that's the end of the presentation, Dr. Hibbah. So I don't know whether we still got time for questions.
Yes, we certainly do have some time for questions. Before I take questions, can I just check if you are going to help us with the app itself, Doc?
In terms of
how to, or were you going to share that with us? Right.
Or in terms of how to sign up and all that.
Yes.
Oh, so that was not part of today's presentation, but of course, Dr. Hibbah, I can, certainly, send you all the information and help you set it up and, organize the group on the Pacer app. Yes, certainly I can do that.
Okay, then perhaps I misunderstood you when we spoke. I thought you were asking if you should do that as well as part of the presentation.
Right. I think yes. I thought this was something that you were going to carry out separately from this presentation.
I will.
Yes, sure.
So, okay, can we take questions? Because I am aware that Dr. Sanda has to be somewhere else, but he would spare some time and take some questions. Let me read some comments from the chat box. So, Martha is asking, does exercise such as swimming, group exercises, example, yoga, dancing class, strength class, etc., count? Do all of those activities count?
Yes, so certainly, swimming counts. It's a very vigorous physical activity. In terms of this challenge, because you either have to have your phone by you, or if you have one of those smart devices such as smartwatch, it can also count your movement. Of course, with swimming and all that, that means these devices need to be waterproof because you've got to protect those devices. But yes, swimming, counts as a physical activity. Exercise, that's really counts. When you have your phone by you and you're moving, whether that's dancing or yoga, the app counts that as well. Okay, so any physical movement that you have in your body, it counts those. What wouldn't count actually is if you sit in a car with your phone and no matter how fast the car is going, it doesn't count those. Okay, that's something clever about the app. So it wouldn't count that as movement because you aren't moving. But any kind of exercise at all, it will count it. If you have your phone in your pocket, jump around, whatever you do, it's gonna count it. I remember when we're doing this challenge, I raced with my daughter in the living room to get more steps because she liked running, and I'll be running and following her around the living room, round, getting my steps, okay, for the day.
Right. I guess that leads me to a comment from someone. Gertrude says, walking in winter, she doesn't think she can walk in winter. It's easier to hit the targets or more during other seasons. In winter, dear, it's hard. Any thoughts on that?
In fact, Gertrude, that is actually the time to challenge yourself to be more physically active. The second time we did run this challenge, we intentionally did it during the winter. So this was December 2021 when it has snowed, across the country. And the idea was actually to now get people to go out and move, okay? Because this is usually the times that we are less physically active. And Gertrude, that's the best time to actually challenge yourself to move more. Okay, in the cold months when we don't want to go out and we want to cover ourselves in our blanket, a very nice cup of tea or hot chocolate or coffee, and enjoy programs on telly and all that. This is actually the time to challenge yourself to get out of that comfort zone and become physically active.
And yeah, just to add to what Dr. Sanders just said, even if you don't want to go out, he's shown us some other activities that we can do within the household. I had these videos I shared when we also did it some last year, people who were just walking, but in the house. So there was music, and then they were able to clock 10,000 just by walking within the household. So if you really can't go out, you can still do it in your living room or your lounge. Yeah. She says she agrees with it.
Yeah, because Yeah. It's not easy. It's not easy getting out in the cold. But once you make that a habit, once it becomes consistent, you realize that you feel good about yourself. When you start, you know, getting and experiencing the benefit, you realize that you wouldn't let the weather, stop you at all.
Indeed. Thank you. Let's see. There's another question. Okay, I usually walk to and from work. That's about an hour brisk walking most days, but this last few weeks, yeah. Okay, do we have any more questions for Dr. Sanda before we let him off the hook? Any comments, any thoughts on his presentation, anything you'd like to know about his work before he goes? Great presentation. That's what I have in the chat. Yeah, let me just add, because Dr. Sanda, you were not part of the intervention we ran last year. Was it a year before? So yes, this is where I got the idea from. It was when Dr. Sanda ran this with this Muslim group that, I learned of this challenge, and people who participated, also gave a lot of positive testimonies. We did it for 6 months, and we have the data there to show how people were always motivated and inspired to, people were not always getting 10,000. There were people who go beyond 10,000, but people were moving. And for us, what was important was the fact that they were moving. What I said was, it doesn't matter if you don't clock the 10,000, as long as you move from where you were the day before. That was good enough for us as part of our challenge. That's what we aimed for, not perfection, but progress. Just make progress from where you were the day before, because we understand that we are all not at the same level. Yeah. So how can you, there's a question from YouTube. How can you tailor this challenge around a busy schedule?
I think that's a very important question. So, I mean, we as part of depending on the work that you do, sometimes your schedules will require you to be more stationary, okay, rather than physically active, be it that sitting behind the desk and to monitor something closely and all that, which in itself is a big challenge. Now, it's about trying to seize those opportunities that come your way during the day. Any opportunity at all that will enable you to feel physically active. For example, in this presentation, and this where actually, I motivated myself to become more physically active, because I realized that I sit a lot in terms of the work that I do, with meetings and with this very virtual and hybrid working environment. Now we move less because you sit by your computer and you have all your meetings. So one of the things that I decided to do is to stand up and actually work. So as I'm presenting to you now, so I've got this elevated desk. I am standing up, and what I then do is that as I am stood up, I tend to move. In those challenges, that's what I tend to do. So I tend to move as I am up, whether I'm thinking, and I just move my body around. Okay. I remember, at work, what one of my colleague, me and my colleague actually did, because we're all in this challenge, and is that where the printer was, okay, there's a printer closer to us, but we then go to one that was farther away from us. And sometimes we race each other to get to the printer when obviously there is a clear space. During lunchtime breaks, if you're having a sandwich or so, rather than sitting down to have a sandwich, think about going for a walk while having your sandwich, okay? Choose those moments, as we said, within the house, as whether you come back from work, think about just moving around the house. You can make them more meaningful by including some household chores. Think about, if you've got kids, think about playing more with your kids. As I said, you see, run around with my daughter in the living room. And it was a good opportunity during the weekends. Actually, I take her to the park and we run, just run around. Obviously, she's not looking for 10,000 steps, because she's getting more than that. But I'm looking for 10,000, steps. So think about those moments. As I said, if you're taking the bus, think about setting off a bit early, getting off, a few stops before your destination, and walking, the rest of your journey. If you like dancing, think about those moments, dancing around, wherever you feel comfortable dancing. Obviously you don't want to do it in the middle of the street for people to wonder what's wrong with you, but seize those moments.
Thank you, Doc. I'd also like to share an example of what I did with a colleague. So when I worked at Chester University, and what's her name again? I was going to mention it for her to hear. So every day, Shauna would call me at 12 for us to go for a walk. So we'll go around the whole university, and that could give me 3,000. We did that twice a day. This was actually even before the challenge. So when the challenge started, it was really good. I was always looking forward to that walk. And we are also really busy people. I mean, you can sit behind your desk the whole day doing stuff, writing, marking, or, just preparing for lectures. But Shauna has made this part of her life, and every day she goes around the university twice. And so she asked me to join her, and that was helpful for me too. So people need to think of ways, innovative ways to get the steps. There's
Absolutely.
so many ways we can.
And just to add, Dr. Hibbah, that when you talked about getting those 10,000 steps a day, the reality is, and honestly, when we organized this the first time, I struggled as an organizer to hit those 10,000 steps a day. And the first time we did it, it was I think it's for about 6 weeks or so. And I must say, I defaulted in my 10,000 on certain days. I struggled to hit 10,000, the work schedules and all that. And it was a day that I was just racing to hit 10,000 before midnight. And I realized 11:50 something, I was in my living room running around and couldn't hit my 10,000 before midnight. So just to let you know that it can be a struggle, but don't let that put you off, okay? I think, Dr. Hibbah rightly put, think about where you were on the journey before you got there. There may be others that I remember there were people who were clocking 30,000 steps a day. I mean, there were people who intentionally, were clocking 30,000 steps a day, 20,000 steps a day. That was great. But don't let that put you off. Okay, we are all at different levels. We've got different capacities. Think about where you were before the journey. Think about your own personal progress. If you see people clocking more, let that be a motivation. Think about it. Okay, you know what? I'll get there in 2 years' time. But I'm just going to take these little steps. I will get there. So don't worry if you start and you're not clocking those 10,000 steps. Don't feel there's something wrong with you. No, it's about consistency, and it's about gauging your own personal progress as well.
Exactly. Very good point, Doc. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Do we have any final questions or comments for Dr. Sanda? Doc, I think that might be it. These are all just great ideas. Thank you. Yes. So thank you so much for that insightful presentation.
Right. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I hope you are joining the challenge as well.
I am thinking about it. Yes, hopefully. I always look forward to opportunities like this to be physically active. Myself. And as I've said, please don't be surprised if you see me trailing behind. I have been doing it since those challenges, so I still have it. The pacer up on my phone, and every day I try to get a 10,000. I'm more better at it now compared to 2 years ago when when I started, and now it's motivated me to be playing a lot of football as well and trying to do more running. So of course I'm more confident to join the challenge now because I do know that I wouldn't be at the bottom.
Good. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. So I'll share those details with you. We already have our link and everything set up. And so I'm going to forward it to you after the session so you can also join. Yeah.
Great. Fantastic. All right. Thank you for having me,
Dr. Sanda. Okay. And I hope to invite you again another time for you to, one point I forgot to mention, maybe I should have given you that information.
Right.
the whole idea of this is not just for it to be a competition. Dr. Sanda highlighted the fact that once we compete, we get motivated and inspired to do it more, to continue doing it. We want this to be part of our lifestyle, but we are going to have some small prizes, monthly, just to act as, serve as incentives for people, so please, every month we are going to have maybe 1 or 2 people who, and I think I need to come out with a criteria, because what we are not looking for people who will just clock weight, and then at the end of that last week, they just decide to overwalk and have 100,000 steps. What I'm looking for is consistency, so even if you are not clocking 10,000 and you're able to clock 6,000 to 8,000, is that consistent? How consistent do you do that within the week? Because that is what we want to achieve with this, sustainable lifestyle. And that is not just waiting to do a lot at the end, So I'll come back maybe next week with some sort of criteria as to who wins what and for what criteria we are going to be providing those gifts for. So
it's always good to aim for a prize.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much, Dr. Sanda.
We
will let you go, and then I'll continue with a few announcements before we have our next session.
Sure. All right. Bye-bye, everyone. Nice meeting everyone.
Bye, Sanda.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Okay, so having launched our 10,000 steps for the year, I think when I started, I was trying to talk about what we are planning for the year, and then my son interrupted the session. So we've had these educational sessions for like 2 to 3 years. We've had lots of topics. Last year we did, keto diets, detox, we did winter health, nutrition and autism. We've done so many nutrition topics. I think this year should be an action year. We've done all the talking, and so we should just walk the talk, as they say. And so this walking is just one part of it. With regards to nutrition, I started by saying that I want us all to set our own goals. This time, we are not going to do what we did the last time, where we kept sending photos and all of that. What I want us to do is set your own goal, whatever it is that you want to achieve this year when it comes to nutrition. It doesn't have to be a big goal. It could just be that you want to have your 2 liters of water, something really small. And then if you wish, you can share these goals with us. And then we can provide you support as we go along, as the weeks go by. If you want to increase your vegetable intake, if you want to have a better sleep, just think about what you need when it comes to your diet or your lifestyle, and we will provide you with that support. Yes, we've done a lot of education. We want this year to just focus on action, evidence-based actions. Now, in addition to that, Saturday, I watched the Healthy Hour session. So there was a doctor who talked about, overweight and obesity, and there were questions about our cultural foods. So there's lots of people who still think that our yams, our plantains may not be as healthy as the salads. So I want us to have what I call a nutrition tidbit session, where we can just focus on our foods, just talk about food. So if we decide to take yam or cocoyam, what do we know about that? How can we eat yam or cocoyam for it to be healthier? What should we combine? How much, what portion size? Things, practical information like that to help us with our dietary choices. So that's one thing we are introducing. What's the other thing? Again, please bring your questions. I keep saying this, no question is stupid. Whatever it is that is bothering you, please let us know, and we will address these questions for you. Now, having said that, there was a question that was put on one of our platforms, and I promised that I was going to respond here. So there was a drink. I don't know what drink it was, but then the question was, can this help in weight loss? It's a simple answer. We've talked about overweight and how to lose weight and all of that here several times. And I want us to remember the number one rule, that it has to do with caloric deficit. So, how much calories are you consuming? Is it less than your expenditure? So if you are eating too much and then you think that someone sells, this drink to you and you think that is going to make you lose weight, then you just wasting your money. So this is something we talk about all the time. All of those things are fad diets or products. There isn't one drink, there isn't one diet that would help you with your weight loss journey. You have to put in some work, okay? So the number of calories you consume in a day, is that smaller than the number of calories you are burning? If you don't remember this, then, nothing you do is going to work. So my answer to that question is that no, those products are not going to help you lose weight. If it's just a drink, just take water or drink like you're taking a drink, but don't take it with the intention of losing weight. People make money from selling those products because lots of us are looking for quick fixes to lose weight. But again, those things, there isn't any evidence to show that those drinks would help you lose weight. So please, just remember, focus on what you are eating, focus on burning those calories, exercise, and that would help you lose weight. Now, okay, so that was the only question that was in there. For those questions that came, the specific ones that had to do with our food, so yam, cocoa yam, plantain, we'll start talking about them next week. Just take one and then talk about it in addition to the topic we have for the week. Okay, do we have any questions or comments for me? I have the link for the challenge, it's ready. So I might just drop it in the chat box, but if people need help in how to subscribe to the app, then I might have to come back next week and help people. People who are on our group would already have there's a video we shared on how to subscribe to that app. Stephen, if you are here, can you put the link to the challenge in the chat box, please? So that people who already have the app, all you have to do is click on that link, and then you should be able to just join the app automatically. We also have a QR code. Daniel, are you there? I'm going to send you the QR code.
Yeah.
And then you can put it in the chat box for me. And then please share with your friends and family, because we want so many people to join as much as possible. We want to do this together, motivate ourselves to start the new year, with an active lifestyle. So I'm sending it to Daniel, so Daniel can put it in here for us.
Sure, no problem.
Okay. And I'll still encourage people to get in touch. Oh, okay, Stephen, you're on. I didn't know you were on. Right. Can you put the QR code there as well so that people who want to use that can do that? Okay. Okay, so that is it from me today. We've officially launched our challenge. We are not going to do the nutrition bits like we did the other time, but I've explained that we still want to support everyone who wants to get some nutrition support, but we want you to set your own goals. Let us know what these goals are if you wish, and we will provide you with the support. Okay, let's take advantage of these sessions. And we don't know how long it's going to continue whilst they are here. Please just talk to us and we will support you in any way that we can. Yes, I've seen that there's a link in there. People can just click on that and be able to, that is if you have the app, but if you don't have the app, okay, and that's the QR code as well. So, you just use your your phone camera to scan that, and it should take you directly to the challenge. Just give a few minutes for people who want to join to join. We will share it on the various platforms as well. So if you're unable to join now, you can also do that later. If you need help as well, please do get in touch and we will support you. Yeah. Daniel, is there a number that people can call? Because I realize that, you know, when you put an email address down, people don't really like to engage with email. Is there a CAHN number that people can? There's a number that I have, yeah? People can send requests. There's a number that I have, but it's just WhatsApp. So I can share that. It doesn't work as a telephone number. I can share that as well. But we really want to hear from people. You know, everything we do for this year, we want it to be based on your needs. You know, so if you want us to repeat a topic we've already done, that's fine. We'll go ahead and do it, because there's no point going on and on with all this education if that is not what people want. As I said, we've done a lot of talking, so now we want action. So let us know how we can support you, you know, so you can put all of this education into action. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Stephen. All right, so on this note, please, do you have any comments, questions before I hand it over to, okay, there's a helpline there. Should I put a helpline out? Because it's been sent to me directly.
Oh, sorry, I thought I didn't ask text. Yeah, you can call it to the group. Thank you.
Okay, yes, so there's a CAHN helpline here. Please do call this number and let us know what you need when it comes to nutrition. We are a team of nutritionists and dietitians here based in the UK supporting our community. So please take advantage of this and let us support you. Okay, so that is it from me today. Can I just ask for the last time, do we have any questions? Do we have any comments before I hand it over? No? Okay, so if we don't have any comments, I'd like to thank everyone again. Thank you so much. And I really do hope that you would all participate in this challenge. Let's make walking and physical activity part of our lifestyle as we try to eat healthy, because those two go hand in hand. You can't just eat healthy and then not do anything physically active. So that's why we are starting with this. Okay. All right, so on this note, I'm going to introduce the next person, Orlando. And I think if people who join these sessions could already subscribe to the challenge, this will be helpful, because Orlando's exercises helps us to move as well. So please take advantage of the session and start getting some steps already, okay? Thank you, everyone. I hope this new year is full of blessings, good health, prosperity for everyone. And I hope to see you in our next session next week. Thank you very much. Orlando, over to you.
I'm sure I'm going straight in. Can someone just spotlight me? There we go. Thank you, Dr. Hibbah, for that introduction. And thank you, Dr. Sanda, for that amazing talk on the 10,000 step challenge. I hope everybody had a great Christmas and New Year break. Hope everyone's feeling good and merry and ready for a nice, fit, healthy 2023. All right, so first 2 weeks of our session, we're going to go through a light cardio circuit. I know everyone probably had a lot of calories over Christmas, so we don't want to just go straight back in at 100 miles an hour. We're going to ease you back in nice and gradually, okay? So today, the work rate is going to be at around 50 to 60%. If you feel like you can go harder than that, then do so. But if you look at a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being you sat down on the couch watching Netflix, and 10 is the hardest you've ever worked in your life. Today's session, we're going to stay around in the middle, around 5 or a 6. All right. So for today's session, you just need a big space, plenty of water. You won't need your mat tonight. So big space, plenty of water, and maybe some fresh air as well. We've got a lot of cardio movements to go through, all right? So before that, let's start with a warm-up. So let's get straight into a warm-up. We're just gonna start with a light jog on the spot for 30 seconds. All right, a light jog for 30 seconds. Turn these tunes up. All right, people, get ready. So jog on the spot in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Jog on the spot. Keep that going, people. 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Let's go into a squat reach. Let's go. Yeah, go ahead. Seconds. Two. Oh, torso twist. That's quick. Keep going. 5, 4, 3, 2. Next one, diagonal forward. Go there. Go down. Let's go. Keep going. 15 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, give yourself a 15-second break. Grab a few sips of water if you need it. Get yourself ready, people. We're going straight back into a warm-up. So let's move 30 seconds. We've got alternate long strides. It's a nice step. We're not going to lunge. It's a nice big step. We're going to stretch out the legs, stretch out the hips. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Give me 30 seconds. Now step backwards. Three, 2, 1. Back to your jog. Now speed up a little bit now. Seconds. 3, 2, 1. Let's get to side stepping. Fifteen seconds. Last 10. 2, 1. Okay, let's get into a couple of dynamic stretches now. Make sure the joints and tendons are all warmed up. So first move, we're just going to go single arm rotations, nice and high. Let's go, 15 seconds please. And backwards. Okay, change arm. Yeah. And backwards. Last one, let's go toy soldiers. Okay, let's go. Kick a leg out, touch with the opposite hand. Kick those legs out nice and straight. $15 seconds. Three, 2, 1, and that's time, people. Okay, back to your corners now. Give yourself a 15-second walk break, and then we're going to go into round number 1 of our cardio circuits. Okay, people, back to your spaces, back to your cameras. All right, so like I said, we've got a cardio circuit, and I want you to work at a level 5 or 6 out of 10 to ease your way back into our weekly sessions. All right, so first 2 moves we're going to do. So legs around hip width apart, and we're going to step for 4, and then we're going to touch the floor. So watch me here. Start with my left foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, both flat. Touch on my left side. Right foot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Touch on my right side. Left foot start. 1, 2, 3, 4. Touch there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Touch there. 60 seconds. Okay, remember that 5 or 6 pace. From there, we've got wide out star jumps. So instead of going above the head or in front, we're going to go right to the side, nice and long. So make sure you've got a good space in the living room or wherever you are. Wide out star jumps. All right, so remember your 4 steps, 2, 3, 4, touch that side, change legs, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to go straight into wide out star jumps with a little break in between. All right, people, let's get ready. Let's get ready now. So start with the 4 steps, and floor touch. Let's get ready, let's go on the drop. Back to circus now, get ready. 3, 2, 1, go. Let's go, keep going. Let's go. Let's get that heart rate up. The lungs pumping and the heart pumping that good around, working muscles. Burn some calories. $15 seconds to go. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay, take a full 20 seconds. Get those deep breaths in. Should have broken a sweat by now. Take a little dab if you need to. Get ready for a wide out star jump set. All right, people, back to your spaces. Get ready. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Keep that going, people. 20 seconds gone. Let's go, people. Let's work off those calories. Chocolate, mince pies. Keep that going, people. Let's go straight back in. Let's go. That's 15. 3, 2, 1, time. Get those deep breaths in. Take your 20 seconds. So listen in quickly while you rest. Let's go through moves 3 and 4. So move number 3. We're going to go forward and backwards, okay? So we're going to go here. 4 steps forward. 1, 2, 3, 4. Touch the floor with either hand. Looking over your shoulder. 4 steps backwards. Touch the floor with the opposite hand. So here, 3, 4 cardio. Looking over that shoulder, back pedal, touch. 1, 2, 3, 4, bang. 1, 2, 3, 4, bang. From there, we've got defensive slides or lateral slides. So we're going to go 3 steps either way. So I'll turn this way here. Say nice and low. 1, 2, 3, bang. Touch the side. 1, 2, 3. Touch the side. All right. So I'll start off with the 4 steps forward. Floor touch, back pedal, floor touch. It's a lateral slides. 1, 2, 3, bang. 1, 2, 3, bang. Next 2 moves, people. Let's get straight back in now. Just let that sweat drip now. Let's go in 3, 2, 1, go. Last it again. Jump start. 2, 3. Here we go. Keep going, people. Keep going. That's halfway, my people. Keep working. Keep working. Seconds. Three, 2, 1. Take your 20 seconds, my people. Deep breaths. Couple of sips of water, not too much. Let's finish this round with lateral slides. Back to your space and get ready. 3, 2, 1, go. Let's go, people. Feet are too quick for me. Keep going, people. That's halfway now, people. 30 seconds to go. Last 10 seconds to go. Three, 2, 1, and rest, people. Give yourself a 30-second break, and then we're going to go into round number 2. 10 seconds, people. Okay, everybody back into your spaces. Let's go through round 2, first 2 exercises. Okay, so first move, we've got traditional skipping. So if your living room or wherever you're at permits and you have a skipping rope, you can bring that in. If not, you can shadow skip like we do when we do box exercise. That's what we're gonna do. 30 seconds, normal. Move around, you can change feet if you want, or you can go 2 feet at a time. And then if you can, we're gonna try and do 15 seconds per leg. 15 seconds here, and then 15 seconds here. If not, just stay on 2 feet throughout the 60-second round. Okay. So next move after that, we've got knees to elbows. So we're gonna go here, arms don't move. We're just gonna go here. Step, step, step. It's like an old school aerobics move. And Mr. Motivator, if anyone remembers Mr. Motivator. Arms out here, bang, step, 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 step. All right, so skipping, 30 seconds here, 15, 15 if you're able to, and we go bang. There. All right, let's continue to sweat it out, people. Get ready. Up. Let's go. Get ready, people. Start. Seconds. Well, 1 foot either side. Yeah. If not, stay in 2. 3, 2, 1. Change legs. Keep going. 3, 2, 1. Rest. Take your 20 seconds. Get ready, people. Remember, knees to elbow. 3, 2, 1. Keep that going, people. Last 20 seconds. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. 20 seconds, people. 2 down, 2 to go. Okay, listening while you rest. Moves number 3 and 4. Oh yeah. Okay, get ready. Move number 3 and 4. So, first move, we have lateral jumps. Lateral jumps. So we're going to be here, slight crouch. We're going to take bang, little steps, side to side, nice and low. Okay, then we're going to go keep around the leg area for move number 4. It's going to be a side step, punch. It's almost like a half squat. Side step, punch. Side step, punch. Side step, punch. All right, people, that is your next two moves. So lateral jumps, side step, and punch. Let's go. Moves number 3 and 4. They're set. Get ready. Turn these tunes back up. Get ready in 3, 2, 1, go. Halfway. Seconds. Three. Oh, take you 20 seconds. Let those legs reset. Last move, people. Side step with a punch. Last 10. Last move now, people. Three, 2, 1, let's go, let's move. Keep going, people. Seconds to go. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. And time. Okay, yes, a few sips of water. Get deep breaths in. 20 seconds, and then we'll cool down and stretch off. Well done. Okay, people, back to your spaces. Let's cool down. Let's start off with toy soldiers. Okay, let's go. Full body, let's go. Hamstrings going. Keep that going, people. Okay, so next side to side. It's a shoulder. Hip rotations. Direction. Yeah. Elevate those shoulders as high as you can. Down nice and slow. Together, keep those knees straight. Try and touch your toes or the floor. Nice and slow. Shake it all up, people. And that's time. Well done. Well done, everybody. Let's turn this down. Wrap up the session. So well done, everybody that took part today, whether you're a newbie or you've been joining us for a little while now. We're going to break back in nice and slow. We've got some new sessions coming your way this year. Like I said before, we're going to do one more week of cardio and conditioning circuits, keeping it nice and light, around a 5 out of 10, like I said before. And then from there, we're going to get into 4 weeks of exercise. And then from there, 4 weeks of Pilates. Okay. So again, every Tuesday, 6 till 7:30. So 6 till 7, you have the informative, interactive seminar. And then 7 till 7:30, you have your boy OG for exercise and fitness. All right, people. So enjoy the rest of the evening. Hope you had a great workout. And I'll see you again here, same time next week. Peace out, people. Well done.